Padre Pio, the saint of Pietrelcina, known for his profound spiritual gifts and clear discernment between good and evil, often spoke about the hidden dangers that can quietly invade our lives and homes. He reminded the faithful that spiritual warfare is not a distant concept, but a daily reality. The enemy, subtle and cunning, often seeks entry not with great fanfare, but through quiet compromises, seemingly harmless objects, or cultural trends that carry dark spiritual undertones. Padre Pio, deeply sensitive to the movements of grace and the attacks of evil, warned us that our homes, places meant to be sanctuaries of peace, prayer, and divine presence, can, unknowingly, become footholds for negative influences if we are not vigilant. With great fatherly concern, Padre Pio emphasized that the home is not just a physical space, but a spiritual battleground. What we allow to enter our homes affects the spiritual atmosphere, influencing the hearts and minds of those who dwell within. Objects carry meanings, intentions, and, in some cases, spiritual attachments that can either invite grace or open doors to spiritual unrest. Padre Pio's teachings call us to examine our surroundings carefully and to courageously remove anything that does not honor God or aligns with forces contrary to His will. His wisdom serves not to incite fear, but to awaken us to the necessity of spiritual vigilance in every aspect of our lives. The first of these dangerous items Padre Pio cautioned against is occult objects, including tarot cards, Ouija boards, and anything associated with divination or magic. He taught that these items, even if kept out of mere curiosity or decoration, carry with them spiritual danger. The enemy uses such tools to create openings into our lives, subtly drawing souls into greater involvement with the occult. Padre Pio, who often battled demonic forces directly, knew well the reality of these spiritual traps. He warned that such items invite not curiosity, but oppression. Even if they are not actively used, their presence in the home can disturb the peace of the household and create a spiritual darkness that lingers unseen. Alongside these, Padre Pio strongly advised against keeping objects or symbols related to superstition, such as lucky charms, talismans, or ritualistic amulets. Though society often portrays these as harmless tokens of luck or tradition, Padre Pio saw them differently. He taught that placing trust in objects for protection or prosperity rather than in God is a form of idolatry, subtle but serious. These items can act as a silent profession of misplaced faith, drawing attention away from divine providence and placing false hope in created things. Padre Pio urged the faithful to cleanse their homes of such items, reaffirming trust in God alone as their protector and provider. The third category Padre Pio warned about includes media and entertainment that glorifies evil, particularly those that trivialize sin, glorify violence, or depict occult practices as entertainment. He cautioned that books, films, music, and artwork that normalize or glamorize darkness leave lasting impressions on the soul. Such media dulls our sensitivity to sin and gradually erodes the moral fiber of the household. Padre Pio, deeply aware of how the senses serve as gateways to the soul, encouraged the faithful to fill their homes with media that uplifts, educates, and draws the heart closer to God, rather than distorting our perceptions of good and evil. Additionally, Padre Pio warned against artwork and decorations that depict demonic or grotesque imagery, even if intended as artistic or cultural expressions. He explained that such images can spiritually disturb the household, planting seeds of fear or confusion and opening doors to spiritual harassment. Instead, he advised adorning homes with holy images, crucifixes, icons of Our Lady, and depictions of the saints, images that remind the soul of heaven's presence and inspire prayerful reflection. Padre Pio believed that the walls of a Catholic home should testify to the beauty and truth of the faith, providing spiritual protection and encouragement to all who enter. Continuing with Padre Pio's deep spiritual insights, the next item he warned against keeping in our homes is books and literature that promote heresy or doctrinal error. He emphasized that what we read shapes our understanding of truth, morality, and our perception of God Himself. Padre Pio cautioned that reading material that distorts Catholic teaching or openly attacks the faith does not leave the soul unaffected. Even subtle errors can, over time, sow seeds of confusion and doubt. He advised the faithful to be discerning about the books they allow into their homes, ensuring that what they and their families consume is in harmony with the truth of the Church. Padre Pio reminded us that the written word carries great power for edification or for deception, and that we must guard our minds and homes accordingly. Padre Pio also highlighted the danger of fashion or jewelry items that carry occult or anti-Christian symbols. In his spiritual discernment, he recognized that these symbols are not merely decorative. They often represent dark spiritual realities or affiliations, whether known to the wearer or not. Items displaying pentagrams, inverted crosses, or other occult signs act as silent invitations to the demonic. Padre Pio urged the faithful to remove such objects from their homes and lives, not out of superstition, but out of a genuine desire to keep their surroundings aligned with the light of Christ. He reminded us that every external sign should reflect our internal faith, pointing us and others toward God rather than away from Him. Another category Padre Pio warned about includes music and audio recordings that invoke darkness, vulgarity, or rebellion against God. He taught that music is a powerful force that penetrates deeply into the human spirit, bypassing the intellect and directly influencing the emotions and soul. Padre Pio knew that when homes are filled with music that mocks virtue, promotes immorality, or distorts truth, it creates a spiritual atmosphere that can dull the conscience and welcome unrest. He encouraged the faithful to fill their homes instead with sacred music, hymns, and uplifting melodies that elevate the heart and mind toward God. In doing so, he taught, we create an environment where angels feel at home and where peace reigns. Padre Pio also strongly warned against ritual items from non-Christian spiritualities or occult practices such as incense, statues, or artifacts linked to pagan ceremonies. While some may view these as cultural or decorative pieces, Padre Pio saw them through the lens of spiritual warfare. He understood that items used in rituals opposing God carry with them spiritual residue, which can disrupt the sanctity of a home. He advised the faithful to purify their living spaces by removing such objects and replacing them with sacramentals blessed by the Church. These holy items, medals, blessed candles, crucifixes, serve as conduits of grace and protection, inviting divine presence rather than spiritual confusion. Moreover, Padre Pio reminded his followers of the power of consecrating the home to the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Immaculate Heart of Mary. He taught that while removing harmful objects is crucial, it is equally important to proactively invite Christ and His Mother to reign within the household. Through consecration, blessing with holy water, and the regular recitation of the rosary, the home becomes not only a place of refuge, but a stronghold of grace, protected from the snares of the enemy. Padre Pio's counsel was always aimed at not just defense, but transformation, turning every corner of the home into a space of prayer, peace, and divine presence. Padre Pio's wisdom also extended to another subtle danger: toys, games, or entertainment that glorify violence, sorcery, or immorality, especially for children. He had a profound understanding of how early influences shape young souls and warned parents to be exceedingly cautious about what they allow into their homes for their children. Padre Pio explained that children are especially sensitive to spiritual realities, and the images and stories they absorb in their formative years can leave lasting impressions upon their hearts. Toys or games that depict dark magic, demonic creatures, or glamorized violence may seem innocent on the surface, but according to Padre Pio's teaching, they quietly normalize what should be firmly rejected. He advised parents to ensure that their children's environment supports their growth in virtue and love of God, rather than planting seeds of confusion or fascination with darkness. Furthermore, Padre Pio spoke about the danger of unblessed or counterfeit religious items, which may carry deceptive spiritual weight. He warned that some items, although they appear to be religious, such as rosaries, medals, or crucifixes, can be manufactured with ill intent or even cursed. These counterfeit sacramentals can be spiritually harmful if they are not properly blessed by a Catholic priest. Padre Pio, deeply aware of the reality of spiritual warfare, taught that genuine sacramentals, when blessed and used devoutly, become powerful means of grace and protection. He encouraged the faithful to have all religious items blessed and to acquire them from trustworthy Catholic sources, thereby ensuring their authenticity and their alignment with the Church's sacramental power. Padre Pio also raised concerns about literature and media that mock or trivialize the sacred mysteries of the faith. He lamented how modern culture increasingly treats holy things with ridicule, turning what is sacred into material for entertainment or satire. Padre Pio saw this trend as not merely offensive but spiritually dangerous, as it fosters a casual, dismissive attitude toward the divine. He advised the faithful to remove from their homes any books, magazines, or films that treat the sacraments, the saints, or the truths of the faith with disrespect. He encouraged instead the cultivation of a library that nourishes the soul, filled with writings of the saints, the scriptures, and works that uplift the heart toward God. Moreover, Padre Pio warned against keeping correspondence, objects, or gifts received from people deeply involved in occult practices or spiritual darkness. He understood that these items could carry a spiritual influence, intentionally or unintentionally, that disrupts the peace of a home. While he always encouraged prayer for the conversion of such souls, he cautioned against keeping physical reminders of their involvement with darkness within the sacred space of the home. Padre Pio recommended that, where possible, such items be respectfully disposed of, burned, or buried after a prayer of deliverance, and that the home be blessed to remove any lingering spiritual attachments. He continually taught that vigilance over the physical environment of our homes reflects the vigilance we must exercise over the spiritual environment of our hearts. Padre Pio explained that just as we clear our homes of physical clutter to create space and order, so too must we remove spiritual clutter that invites disorder and confusion. He reassured the faithful that these actions are not rooted in fear, but in love for God, for our families, and for the peace that the Holy Spirit desires to pour into our lives. Padre Pio's loving admonition was always to be proactive, to take concrete steps to ensure our homes are places where grace flourishes and where the presence of God is unmistakably felt. Padre Pio always taught that removing harmful objects is only the first step in sanctifying our living spaces. He emphasized the importance of filling the newly cleared space with prayer, the sacraments, and holy reminders of God's goodness. He recommended enthroning the Sacred Heart of Jesus in our homes, a powerful act of consecration that invites Christ to reign as King over every aspect of family life. He urged us to place crucifixes prominently on our walls, to adorn our spaces with images of the Blessed Virgin Mary and the saints, and to make the Rosary a daily family prayer. In this way, we do not merely keep evil out, we actively invite heaven in, transforming our homes into beacons of light amid a darkened world. Padre Pio's vision for the Catholic home was one of radiant holiness. He believed that when a household is dedicated to God, it becomes a place where guardian angels joyfully dwell, where the Holy Spirit moves freely, and where every visitor senses an atmosphere of peace and divine presence. He reassured the faithful that these efforts are not in vain, even if we have previously allowed harmful influences into our homes. God's mercy is always available to cleanse, renew, and restore. Padre Pio encouraged us to approach the Lord with confidence, seeking His blessing upon our homes through the intercession of priests, sacramentals, and heartfelt prayer. He often reminded his spiritual children that no home is too far gone for the healing touch of God's grace. Finally, Padre Pio urged all Catholics to remember that our homes are the training ground for our souls and the souls of those we love. The choices we make about what enters our homes shape our families, our thoughts, and ultimately, our eternal destiny. He called us to be courageous stewards of the spaces entrusted to us, to make every effort to ensure that our homes reflect our deepest values and our commitment to Christ. By removing the 10 dangerous items he warned about and replacing them with holy reminders of God's presence, we cooperate with divine grace in making our homes true dwelling places of the Lord. So, let us take Padre Pio's words to heart. Let us examine our homes with the eyes of faith, courageously casting out whatever does not glorify God and filling our spaces with prayer, love, and holy beauty. In doing so, we follow the path of countless saints who have gone before us, creating environments where grace abounds, where hearts are lifted toward heaven, and where the enemy finds no foothold. And always, as Padre Pio so often reminded us, let us live by his simple yet profound counsel. Pray, hope, and don't worry. Worry is useless. God is merciful and will hear your prayer. May these words guide us as we strive to make our homes true sanctuaries of peace and holiness.